What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to T3G. My name is Albert, and today we are talking about the importance of pause. We're back again with Fundamentals Friday, and what you saw there was me at 2x. Now, if you already watched my videos at 2x, I'm sorry, you probably didn't understand what I said. But that's actually how I've been consuming a lot of media lately. Whether it's podcasts, whether it's vlog type material, usually stuff that's lengthier, I'll go 2x. Certain creators just have a slower talking speed, so I go 2x or 1.5x. You know, everything above 1x. I don't go 3x on the podcast or the books. I know that there's people that can, but I can't do that. But I wanted to talk about how important it is to just pause sometimes. I know when I do that, often, especially if I find that there might be some information that I need from that video, I will end up rewatching it or slowing it down and rewatching it from the beginning. Now, I don't know how that affects metrics and stuff like that, but that's not even what I'm concerned about. What I'm more concerned about is, all right, I could have just watched the whole thing in 1x, normal speed. If I'm starting a video or a podcast or whatever at 2 times speed, I might be missing some of the nuances of the conversation. Certain things, like my favorite podcast, Jay and Miles Explain the X-Men, they have a slow conversation speed. That's just what I've noticed, what I've realized. When I realized you could speed up, listening to them at 1.5 or even 1.75 sometimes sounds like normal conversation, like the rate that I normally have conversations at. So listening to them at 1x, it's almost painful. It's one of those things I never realized how slow it was until I sped it up. The reason I wanted to bring this up today is because this is going to affect how you tell stories. And this is as much for myself as it might be for anybody else to think about. If you've watched previous videos, there's a lot of cuts. I find a lot of unnecessary pauses in videos kind of frustrating when I'm watching or when I'm editing. And I've honestly not very often thought about the viewer. For instance, right there, that would be a cut in most situations because I'm cutting based on the timeline. I'm cutting based on what I'm seeing in the waveform. If I'm seeing an extended gap, that may not be the best experience for people. At least that's how I've justified it to myself. Recently, however, I have discovered that there's something to be found in the power of a pause. There is something to be said and then thought about for a moment. Obviously, you're going to have to do cuts at some point. You're going to misspeak. You're going to go back and rephrase what you said. I said this exact sentence about 4 times already. But there is going to be situations where sometimes you can just say something and just let it sit for a moment. Now, I'm not saying don't make any cuts. Obviously, it's going to be different for everybody depending on what you're doing, depending on what kind of media it is. When I'm recording, when most people are recording, I imagine, I guess I can't discount the possibility of someone just being able to one take a whole video. But when I'm recording, I am doubling back. I'm saying something. I am slurring my speech because I talk fast sometimes unnecessarily and I'm not enunciating. So then I realize the thing I just said in my head was a word. What I made the sounds of did not sound like words. So then I have to go back and I have to rephrase it. So there's a lot of cutting. Sometimes I even miss the extra 3rd or 4th take. And there's been videos that are live on this channel right now that have stuff that I clearly said it once, said it again, just cut the silence between the 2 takes, did not cut the extra take. Just happens sometimes. But I think if you look at some of the greatest speakers, they take pauses to consider the next thing that they're going to say and how they're going to structure the next sentence. Not everyone is working from a script. I understand a lot of YouTubers do have an actual script. They kind of boil it down, bullet points, or just like Linus Media Group, they are fully scripted. So I have on occasion done bullet points here and there. More often than not, I am just winging it. If I'm reviewing a product, I'm handling it, talking about the things that come to mind at that time. I feel like it brings an air of honesty to it that sometimes may not be present with other types of reviews, especially if it's like a provided product or, you know, somebody covered the cost of a product. And I feel like maybe when you script a review, there's a possibility of you sugarcoating things. Whereas while I'm handling a product, I feel like I'm giving an honest opinion because if I'm frustrated with something, you're going to see it in that moment. But I'll put the question to you, the viewer. Do you prefer having pauses and having a little bit longer video, for instance, with more of a natural conversation style without the cuts between, you know, sentences and words? Or do you prefer the fastest video and the information provided to you in the fastest possible way? Or if you watch at 2x, does it matter? Those are my questions. Feel free to answer down below. But that's going to be it for this one. Just like a pondering Fundamental Friday, want to think about pause. I want to kind of get that into the ether and just something that I can keep in mind while I make my next videos. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.